So what's the name of your band?
My band's called Goddamn. Silly name for somebody from for a band from Wolverhampton, isn't it? It sounds like we should be hillbillies or something like that, but it's something that's stuck. Yeah,
I think it's a great name. It's rolls off the tongue. It's memorable.
Yeah,
it's not like Foo Fighters, which he is constantly regretting now.
Yeah. Oh no, I got my regrets with it. I mean, it's I think it's closed as many doors as it's opened. Put it that way. So,
well, there's lots of doors.
Yeah, there is. I like your T-shirt. That's
thanks,
one of the best performances ever. The 9 Inch Nails Woodstock.
It is. Yeah.
It's just makes me want to get like a load of MIDI keyboards and trash everything. But what they've done is they've not got their nice gear hooked up to it. They've just got basically like, I think it's one of the earlier days of MIDI where they figured out, we can have these cheaper keyboards on stage that we can kick the shit out of and play.
Oh yeah.
And then all the nice gear gets saved behind it. So
Absolutely.
yeah. They tread a line that I would like to tread even more sometimes, you know.
Yeah, there's I think was it Cocaine? What's it called?
On the record, the song Cocaine.
Yeah.
There's no bass on that. It's just like synth and guitars and stuff.
When that backing synth comes in, like after the initial intro.
Oh, the Mellotron. Yeah.
It's so atmospheric and dark.
Well,
and
I really like that about the Mellotron. I mean, it's I kind of had a formula and tastes and like a little palette of things that I wanted to do with the record, and it was very much Mellotron being the kind of atmospheric sound, and then having like really dirgy heavy synths, but the guitars being like having all the air sucked out of them and like almost like toy, raspy, harsh,
pinchy.
Quite harsh sounding guitars. So, and again, I guess that 9 Inch Nails thing where it's almost like industrial sounding guitars, no like bluesy valve amps kind of thing. It's just like the opposite of that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like kind of abusive kind of guitar sounds, and then you've got this soothing, ethereal kind of Mellotron sounds going all the way through it, and it's something I've kind of. I don't even feel like I've exhausted now. I kind of want to do another record like that. You know?
How you feel about Raw Coward and how it's been received?
Raw Coward, I feel like we're kind of returning to our kind of spirit home as a band, and you know, we're not really interested in playing a game anymore. There was definitely like maybe an album and a half where we were seeing how far we could take it and stuff, whereas now it's kind of I'm always open to it going further, you know, but it's kind of with Raw Coward it was just like fuck everything else and just bands say that, you know, but like I really meant it, as in I think it was an album, if I was a fan of this band, I would make, you know what I mean? Like it's what I'd want to see from Goddamn, you know. I was trying to do that on the last record, but I think doing it ourselves has kind of meant that we make all the choices over stuff. We made, you know, absolutely every decision on that has been a band decision, you know. And the label were really behind it as well, and the label, you know, say they said when they heard it, it's our best album, you know. So it's really nice.
The other
to
ones
hear.
are great. Like no, offense,
yeah,
like,
there's definitely things. There's things. Every single album we've done, there's been stuff that I've been really proud of. That's not to like shit on all the other albums, you know. I think something like Everything Ever, which was us trying to be more poppy and accessible and maybe write our kind of Nevermind. It was. There's some things on there that I'm really chuffed with, and actually there's some really heavy moments on that record, different kind of heavy to a lot of our other stuff. So, and with Vultures, our first record, it was kind of us in a big expensive studio throwing the kitchen sink at everything and having a producer who just egged us on, and we really pushed some boundaries musically and our own boundaries and just kind of sonic boundaries within that, you know, some of the kind of tapestry of that record. I still haven't heard a record that sounds like that, so it's quite, I'm proud of that. But I just feel like our songwriting's come on, and it's more, when I say it's come on, it's more the energy that we should be conveying as a band, you know, the energy I want to convey with a band that's Goddamn, you know. I think there's I don't see I see parallels to us and a band like the Beatles where we can do what we want. You know, we're not bound by it being a rock band, but that same token is kind of there's some idiosyncrasies that I want to see from our band, and I think the real fans of our band want to see those idiosyncrasies as well. You know,
definitely. So it sounds like you've got more material to work on that. So like maybe this is a question for later.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I kind of, if you
down?
follow me on my socials, I'll like drip feed bits of demos or like, you know, stuff that I'm working on, you know.
Yeah.
I think you've got to...
You're very consistent, especially with your socials.
With my socials,
yeah,
right.
Because it's like
I think
you're showing bits of music that you're messing with and playing with.
Yeah, it's no different. Thanks, mate. Thank you. Cheers. That means a lot. I mean, it's one of those things where we've kind of just done we haven't finished our album cycle even, you know, we're still on our album cycle. It's a weird time with COVID, which I know you wanted to talk about, and it's just kind of I kind of go through these phases of not being productive at all and then going into like hyper focus, you know. I've got out of nowhere I checked my Dropbox and I was like, oh, there's 13 songs in here now, you know, which doesn't mean it's going to be a record, you know. It means that maybe there's some good stuff in there that might make a record, you know, or an EP or something like that, or maybe it won't go anywhere. Yeah. You've got to be prepared for that as well. Like, you know, you can't. I think if you do it with like a mission statement of, you know, I'm doing it to get famous, or I'm doing it because people need to hear it, or I'm doing it because there's a demand, or I'm doing it because I'm trying to break through or whatever, then that's just not genuine at all. I think fair enough if, you know, you quit music and you have to go and do your job. You know, I all through this, you know, I'm a carer now, so I don't work, but prior to that I was working all the way through it, you know. But if you're like, right, that's it, I just want to go back to your job and quit your music, then it just kind of, for me, it's like, well, you were kind of faking it anyway, you know. I think for me, it's for sure you can put it down for big chunks of time, you know, but it's always there. I mean, it's been I'm 33 now, and I've been in bands since I was 13, and you know, that age, it's like your coping mechanisms start, you know.
Absolutely.
So I'm thankful that I've had music to be that, and my own creativity to be that addictive kind of crutch, you know. Yeah.
And your therapy.
And my therapy for like 20 years, you know. So, and that, you know, that whole time I haven't been going like, oh, must get famous, must be doing this, must try and break through, must try and impress people. The only person I'm trying to impress is like myself and the drummer Ash, who've been playing with for years, or like, you know, these little boundaries or these little avenues that I want to go down, you know. And the only regrets I've ever had is when I am trying to impress other people. You know what I mean? It's kind of
makes sense.
It's kind of like, oh shit, you know, that was the water was muddy then, you know. And that's not to. I think some people, successful artists and unsuccessful artists, say, well, you know, that's just a little way of propping yourself up to say it doesn't matter as long as I'm being creative or whatever. You know, there's people who are maybe somebody like in the Rolling Stones or the Beatles, I've heard them say, you know, well, I'm not into it for the art. And it's just like, well, some of us really fucking are, you know. I'd literally be doing this if nobody listened or not, you know. Exactly. I would happily make 100 demos and just show a mate on Instagram, oh, check that out or whatever, you know, and just listen to it in my car or whatever. I'll do that till the fucking cows come home, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm lucky that I've got people around me and the record label and our drummer and Hannah, where it's like, if we feel like it's good enough to take further, then we'll take it further, you know.
Absolutely. Very supportive network.
Yeah, I'm incredibly grateful of that, you know. In the music industry, the people, you know, there's plenty of people who I support and support me and support the band, you know. So such as yourself, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel that that the support networks grown more supportive over the past couple of years? With
I think so.
Everyone has this thing in common, like we're all struggling together.
Yeah.
And especially
that's been the great thing about the internet. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I find myself saying to people messaging you saying, you know, have a happy new year or whatever.
Yeah.
And I find myself saying to people, you know, just strangers or fans the other side of the world, you know, in a non-creepy way, it's been nice to connect with you this year. It's been nice to have an occasional little conversation or laugh at a meme and go off on one about politics or religion or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's almost closer, you know. It's people aren't talking, you know, years ago I remember being, you know, a naive teenager reading Enemy, and it always used to be like, what's the next biggest scene, you know? You had to be from a big city to make it in a band, or you had to be, you know, if you were from this town, it's not going to happen for you. And it's all bullshit now, isn't it? It's all completely dissipated. It's all completely evaporated, sorry. And it's, you know, ageism in the music industry is gone. You know, we're working really fucking hard on sexism and classism's still there, you know. You get the rich kids, but I think it's the community's there if you want to go and get it, you know. And I feel humbled to be part of that.
It's nice to hear you say that, because I've always been like a bit of a stickler in the mud, like, oh, there was such a great scene in Wolverhampton when I was young, you know, like we all hung around the Civic. And either skated or went to gigs.
Yeah, it's great.
There's so many gigs on. But we were all physically there together. But now it's just changed to online when people do meet up, and then they don't, but they're still in that community. They're communicating all together.
I mean, I'd love we both love for Wolverhampton to be back where it was when we were kids. And, you know, you'd have fucking Motorhead coming through every other week, you know, or something. You know, you'd be able to see, but. You know, Birmingham's not too far, and you know it's getting there. You know, but
I saw the poster downstairs, like all the bands that are playing, like Avatar and God.
Is it we're in KK
In Flames?
Should we say we're in KK Steel Mill right
We're in
now?
KK Steel Mill.
Our lockup's in KK Steel Mill. I mean, if you want to come and steal all our gear,
so get through the door. What's some of the big challenges of being a musician now more than ever with COVID?
So the big thing with COVID has been for bands has been just finding it hard to make plans. You know, I think you make pencils and you push them. You know, it's thankfully the touring that we've done has been great, and we have been genuinely surprised at the turnout, and there has been very few cancellations compared to a lot of people. So I think we got off lightly, but I think we finished a bunch of touring and we were like, fuck, you know, do we book some headline stuff? So we're just kind of waiting to see what the start of next year is going to be like before we think about what we're doing, you know. I think we were quite tired of the anxiety of like, oh, is this going to happen, you know. So, you know, it doesn't undo the record that we've done. It doesn't undo the, you know, the campaign and all, you know, the positive reaction to the record. It's, you know, just we might have to take a step back and figure things out. You know, I could see maybe for the next year or two, bands and gigs being more like a summer thing, you know. But that's fine. Like, when we can't gig, we just get back into the rehearsal room. We just get back into, get back into writing again, you know. It's not a major anxiety for me. The anxiety for me has been like, is this going to happen, you know? When you book a gig, you're like, oh fuck, you know, and you kind of sense people's fear over it, because it's like tickets a lot of time don't really shift until the last minute, because people go like, oh, it's definitely happening, we're going to go, you know what I mean? So it's for a band like us, you know, who not the kind of band to sell out in like 2 minutes flat, you know. We'll sell out a gig, you know, leading up to it or whatever. So it's kind of one of those things. Not that we validate ourselves by selling stuff out or shifting tickets. It's just you just want everybody to have a good time. Want everybody to feel safe. You want everybody to, you know, not feel anxious about it, because but it's hard, you know. You're feeling anxious yourself, and your family's anxious, and it's been nice to get in a van and try and forget about that, and nice to get some normality out and have some nights out, and you know, and just be like, right, well, fuck it, I'm going to be as safe as I can. And
you really did that. Like, I remember you were posting so much about testing before gigs coming up, and you know, that I think that made me feel pretty confident of your responsibility as a band, that you really give a shit about the events.
I'd rather see people wear masks. If you don't wear masks, at the time when we were gigging, it was like masks were optional, and people were in masks, and it's one of those things where you can't hug everybody. We're quite like an affectionate band,
absolutely.
Affectionate people, and we hug and we kiss each other as a band, and sometimes we'll do that with really embrace a fan, or really embrace a friend who's come to a show, or somebody who's travelled out. I'm quite tactile people, and I think that's been hard. And we make miserable fucking music all the time, But we're kind of like, we refer to this thing as like party riffs. Is it a party riff? Or is it a Mardy riff? That kind of thing. So we try and have the party riffs in there, So we want people to have a party when they see us, but there's a kind of bleak darkness, like dark humour to it. Yeah. But we try and be positive people wherever we go. It's we pull each other up. It's like because it's when you're in a van and when you're going around the place, it's easy to become the negative person. Somebody becomes the negative person. Over the years, me and Ash will like pull each other up on that. It's just whoa, that's good. What's this achieving? Nothing. What do you want to know about Shit Guitar?
I want to know everything. So tell me where the idea for Shit Guitar came from.
Shit Guitar, the lyric, there's no such thing as rock and roll, there's no such thing as God, so climb down from your crucifix and play it like guitar. The kind of that style of lyric, and somebody who I magpie from a little bit is Tom Waits. So really? There's a song called Come On Up to the House, which there's a line in it where it goes, come down off from the cross, we could use the wood, and I always have I've kind of come to terms with what goddamn means for me, because originally it was just some stupid fucking name, right? But then stupid fucking things find meaning along the way, or like you kind of figure out what they're about later on, And I come from a C of E on my mum's side, and a Catholic background on my dad's side, because they're Italians, and I spent lots of time in church when I was a kid and stuff, and I've kind of got my own weird little God complex with my relationship with God. I'm not got a God complex myself, but like I class myself as an atheist, but but there's certain values that I picked up as growing up as a Christian and stuff, and there's things that I don't like about the church. So I feel like it's kind of for me to pull up, I've got permission to talk about Christianity.
Absolutely.
I've got permission to hold it to account. The Western, as a white Western male, I've come, my lineage has been mainly because of, Christian power, white Christian power. So I feel like I can have a go at that. Like that's for me, because I was made to go to Sunday school. I've come through, I was baptized against my will, blah, blah, blah. I don't actually have that big a problem with it. But on the whole, I still go and see my Catholic dad, my Catholic grandparent, my Christian grandparents. But I feel it's something that I can talk about and I want to talk about, So I do mention God quite a lot, and it's in our name, and I kind of feel like it's something I can do with conviction, So that's like something that I always reference quite a lot as God and Jesus and stuff like that, but from a kind of smarmy, atheists, who's got a complex over it way, So
well, you've been forced to experience. So now that you're at an age where you can assess it in the context of, well, there isn't just this religion, but so many others, and where
for sure. I can't talk about Islam to you. No, I can't. It's not for me to have a chip at Islam, have a fucking go at Islam. That's not for me. Other people who are raised as Muslims, maybe it's their job to do that. But I feel like I've got a free pass to fucking have a go at Christianity. If you want to arrive at a show with a gun over that, then that's it's like it's fair enough. Somebody will take a don't speak. You know what I mean? Like, thank God we don't live in we're not a band that exists in a deep South American state, right? So
Yeah.
So shit guitar. So and another thing I feel like I can have a pop at is, you know, the pedestals that we create as a society for these sometimes monsters to get away with what the fuck they want to do. You know, absolutely. And it's something that we have a problem with, you know. Yeah. There is a problem in the music industry with sexual abuse. There is a problem in the with society propping people up and putting them on a pedestal that fetishizes them getting away with it and almost encourages them. And now we're starting to hold people to account over it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you have to kind of, a lot of the musicians I've loved over the years have turned out to be fucking cunts, you know, like absolute like monsters, you know.
Yeah. My heart's broken.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson, and you know, how long do we want to go? I feel like not enough people are speaking up about it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, your idols are all paedophiles. I've had idols in the past who have been fucking nonces, you know what I mean? Like, and have behaved terribly. Now, I'm not saying that completely wipes out their music, you know, or their art, but it's just, they don't need that fucking pedestal. They don't need that crucifix. They don't need to be some fucking deities. They don't, you know, we need to take them down as society and just say, you know, you don't get this fucking soapbox, you don't get this, you know, and why are we giving these people these kind of knighthoods in the fucking first place? You know what I mean? Like, maybe we need to, rather than just trying to hack them down all the time, it's like, how about that shit doesn't exist in the first place, you know? Like, where you simp, like, or feel inferior to somebody who has some kind of status in a way, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my neurodivergence presents itself in you know, oppositional defiance. So I hate authority anyway. Like it's not something I've struggled with it in the workplace, etc. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm probably quick to that anyway. But so yeah, shit guitars about that, and just being kind of appalled at some people's behaviour within the music industry, but then also not surprised because we've fetishized them. We've you know, it's been such a big part of the patriarchy and such a big part of Western society. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't have done that, but it's no surprise that they have fucking done that because, you know, I'm not excusing it, but it's just kind of like we facilitate monsters, you know what I mean? Like,
there's no such thing as rock and roll, there's no such thing as God. So climb down from your crucifix and play it like guitar. Your idols are all pedophiles who sold you who you are. So climb down from your crucifix and play it like guitar. I love my shit guitar.
Yes.
the answer to this is accountability.
Absolutely.
It's not everything's cancelled. People will still go to an Eric Clapton show. Like people, it's not.
What about his COVID perspective?
Yeah, and him being a racist and
Yeah, but like here's the thing, he's an amazing musician, and it's like, just look at him for that. This is what we were talking about before.
Don't give him a fucking soapbox to talk about politics.
Don't follow his fucking Instagram or socials. Who do I love? I don't know. I love so many musicians, but at the same time, like, I don't need to hear your opinion on how you feel I should lead my life.
Yeah. Sometimes it's in the music, though. When this band first started, we used to put on our own nights in our old lockup. These great parties. And we used to call it Vegan Crunk because there was a song called Being a Dickhead is Cool, and there's this hipster dude who says, oh, I've got my own vegan crunk now. And we just used to like take the piss and just put on these nights called Vegan Crunk. And now most of the people, half the people who used to attend those, I've seen them at fucking vegan fairs and stuff like that. It's like, oh, we were taking the piss out of it. It's amazing what comes back to bite you a little bit, you know what I mean? Shall I show you, can I show you the amp? Please do. So something about the record that I'm really chuffed with is I recorded it, all the guitar parts, and some of the drums actually went through this little amp. This shitty little PV Rage. Now I know the disgraced Josh Homme uses a crap PV, but it's not this one. It's not the Queens of the Stone Age one. It's a different one. It's the kind of like more shrill industrial sounding one. And yeah, I've got it hooked up so you can hear that, like, what it really sounds like. So yeah, this is pretty much all the sounds on our record were done with this, and it's that I kind of had like a real mission statement of like being idiosyncratic and sticking to a formula and stuff, and I kind of love the kind of heavy shit sound of this amp, like this is my shit guitar that, it's a fucking great guitar. It's not it's not a badly built guitar, but it's not like it's not your blues lawyer, your fucking show off guitar. It's kind of it's not like a rock star guitar or anything like that. It's a kind of, it's had a hard time and it's been bodged together and stuff, but this is kind of, I had a realization, and part of shit guitar was, and using this crap amp and stuff is like, I've had some amazing equipment in the past, but I don't need that to make the music that I want to make, and neither do you, and neither does the kid at home. So much of it is like fetishized about, if I just got this amp or if I just got this guitar, I'll be able to make this fucking great record,
pushing the goals higher,
and clawing away at the sand, and it's never ending, and you just go like, if you just take a step back and be like, oh no, I've got everything I need, I'm cool, I don't need to be sold anything, I don't need to, it's not even like anti-capitalism, it's well, it is, but it's my version of punk rock,
Yeah.
I don't need another guitar. Like, I'll track with another guitar, I'll do like double track and stuff, but I don't need anything else other than what I've got here to make a record. It's a fucking £15 amp with a £1,000 worth of microphone in front of it, but that's another. So this is a Yamaha SG that I got years and years and years ago.
Okay.
And it's been through the ringer, and I've smashed it up and put it back together again, and it's begged and borrowed pickups and stuff. But you can kind of you can go from like really heavy to like really thin sounding and stuff, so there's that kind of like dynamic of the band all in this guitar. So I can go from like something really acousticy almost sounding to something like, And another thing that's maybe idiosyncratic to our band is ignore the gross strings on this. I haven't changed them since tour, but the tuning that we used on our record, I used drop A, but not in the conventional way. So it's like rather than E A D G B E, it's lower octave A than the other A, which sometimes takes a bit of tuning. So you can make like a bass guitar and a guitar at the same time with it. And then the rest of it is tunes A, D, G, and then some of it, a lot of the album is got this double B on the end, so I can do so it's like kind of double tracked almost, so it's just like weird tuning that help get myself out of the kind of standard tuning box, and nobody's taught me how to play guitar in this tuning. I've figured it out all myself, which is something that story as old as time. People have always done that, but it's just kind of like it kind of gave it all that flavour, and there's stuff on the record that's got like drop D as well, and I've still got that extra double B there, so like something like Cow Cone. If I was to just play it there, not as full as. So this is pretty much the sound of the record. What you've got in front of it. There was another fuzz pedal, another guitar that I used for double tracking. Yeah. Put some bass on there. There's mainly Hannah's MS-20 on there and some Mellotron, but like really simple flavors, and try and do as much as you can with as little as possible, or the tools that you've got in front of us, And had it not been for COVID, I wouldn't have sat down with a shitty little practice amp and just to see what I can get out of it. I might have gone to my bigger amps around me or whatever, or it's survival, isn't it, sometimes?
That's such a good point. Yeah.
And part of that survival was being able to record guitar at home, and I sat with this amp that I just picked up, dead cheap, and I was just like, I just wanted a little amp at home that's got a distortion on it. And it's just like, fuck, I kind of, there's all the sounds I need. Yeah. I wouldn't be reaching for other sounds. And it's that, we were talking about Nine Inch Nails earlier, a lot of those kind of like harsh industrial records use some pretty harsh sounding instruments, Absolutely, so it's not, I'm not going to sit around playing the blues on this fucking thing, but it stops me doing that as well,
And also like Queens of Stone songs for the deaf, they use like smashed through.
Similar thing. Reverb. I mean, I love the sound of that record. I'm a big fan of Eric Valentine, who produced that record. Absolutely. And they use a different PV amp. It's not this one. But that kind of thing where it's kind of early punk Black Flag sounds and bedroom guitarist sounds. It's I think we have some kind of, if you're a romantic guitarist, maybe we have some kind of like sense memory to our like first practice amp and the sounds that they have, and when you first plug them in, they sound massive, because they do sound massive. They do sound fucking great. They're made to make you sound like you've got a massive stack in your bedroom, but you can play it quietly, which is great when you want to record. Absolutely. I mean, we started taking these out on the road, and you can slave them out into bigger amps and stuff, but for recording, it's my favourite amp, and I record and engineer, and I don't want to say produce, I don't like the word produce, other bands in our lockup, and a lot of the time, they're punk bands and stuff, and they're trying to find that extra sound to throw in, and I'll just stick that up.
Nice.
It's just
there was didn't you recently produce an EP for the band?
There's a bunch of bands. Check out the band Flesh Creep. I've been engineering and mixing, and there's a band called Non-Lin, there's a band called Monasteries, but they're starting to come in after we did our record ourselves, so it's kind of a nice byproduct of that, is people want me to help them make their records, which is just that community. For me, it's that community thing of having people around you, and you know, similar ideas and stuff, you know. I'm probably painting myself into a corner of bands that want me to help record them, but it's a corner I quite like, you know. So the term producer is like the new rock star, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, it's a really wanky thing to it, where it's just like, you don't know any better about how somebody else's music should sound. Like, if they've got an idea, listen to their idea over your idea, you know. So if you hear that a musician that you love has produced this other one. Definitely. And that's why last record we went with Sylvia. Actually, no, it's not why we went with Sylvia Massey. I didn't go with Sylvia Massey because I like Tool. I'm not a big Tool fan. I'd quite like that System of a Down record that she did now, that Johnny Cash and all those people that she's worked with, and Slayer. Right. Wow. But that's not why I went with her. We went with her because of her style and her approach and her ethics, you know. The band lineup currently is yourself, Tom, Ash, Hannah. Yeah. And that's, I think we're kind of set to do a record like that. We'll see how we get on. Fantastic. But I'm writing more. They seem enthusiastic about it. You know, COVID's making things hard, and people have they're isolating XYZ, but like, I'd like to do another record. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. I don't know. No pressure. No pressure. Yeah, I mean, I started thinking like, oh, now's the time to do a solo record, and I was writing like I've got like 13 songs in my Dropbox and stuff, and I was like, so it just sounds like another goddamn record. This is great news. And where can people find your music? Just at Goddamn the Band on all those kind of socials, and you know, if you're a Spotify user, you want to go and give them some more money, go and do that. If you want to, I'm an Apple guy myself. Apple, that's not much different, is it? You know, an Apple Music guy. I'm a Bandcamp guy. High fucking five. More Bandcamp people needed. Bandcamp's like, because that's money directly to you, right? Bandcamp, hook up our Bandcamp. Okay. But our label's great. Buy from our label. Our label have been more than supportive. One Little Independent have been amazing to us. So if you just so happen to or choose to go and buy from our label, then I want those guys to get paid. You know? And what's your label? It's called One Little Independent now. It used to be One Little Indian. They changed their name because they wanted there was some people were offended about the use of Indian, and I was like so fucking proud when they did that. It's like, these are right on people. These are the people that I have released my record, and I couldn't be more chuffed that we share so many of the same values, you know. I did just want to ask, what albums have you been loving this year? This year there's been a band called Thank who have an album called Thankology, which is a tip of a cap to another Leeds band called that fucking Tank, who had a band called Tankology. Anyway, their album's fucking incredible. There's a band called Low. I enjoyed their record this year. Nice. I'm struggling to think of what else. A band called Gulch I've got into. It's a hardcore kind of band. And a bunch of bands I've been working with. Nice. Flesh Creep, Non-Lin, Monasteries. I'm sure I'll regret not including some other names in there. Well, if you think of any more, Christian Fitness, that record's great. Christian Fitness, what a great guy from Future of the Left. Nice. Also, Jimmy, who used to be in, he runs Running Punks. He hasn't put out a record this year, but some of the Vega Bodega stuff's been really entertaining. So, nice. Brilliant. Thank you for having me in my own lockup. Well, thanks for agreeing to do this, Tom.